Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I wanted to cover 2024 with my favorite games that have come out. I'm going to be going in order all the way up to my favorite game of the year. So I'll definitely be putting some timestamps for you guys to skip around and see kind of just like what I personally liked. Just as a little bit of context for you, I am one person. I do work full-time outside of this whole YouTube thing. This isn't kind of like my full-time thing, just something that I'm doing on the side. But I wanted to let you guys know, I mean, I'm not playing every single release, but I try my best to get through as much as I can throughout the year. I think there were a lot of really good games in 2024. I think it was pretty surprising. Some of the games that we thought were going to be great ended up being great. A lot of games that we thought were kind of just like the most random things to come out ended up being really fun as well. But then we've also got some really expected misses. I'll probably be putting out kind of like my worst of 2024 as well for you guys, so you could see kind of just what to avoid. But yeah, I mean, really painful year for your wallet. So let's get started with my top 10. This one really surprised me, but Sonic X Shadow Generations was actually amazing. I had so much fun playing this game. It is a remake of Sonic Generations, but it's almost got like 2 or 3 games in one, technically 2 if you really think about it. But I mean, you've got Sonic Generations, which is a game I never played personally, which is actually really, really fun for any Sonic fan. On top of Sonic Generations, you have this whole Shadow campaign, which is completely new. And you're basically taking Sonic back to its roots. So you've got kind of like the 2D mode here. It's 2D/3D with Sonic Generations. And then you've got the 3D, more Sonic Adventure 2 style, which is, the one that I played that's near and dear to my heart. I mean, you've got the same music, kind of like different variations of the levels. It's a lot of nostalgia here. It's pure fun. And I mean, for Sonic as a series, it's really bad to just kind of see what's happened with the whole platformer series. It's just hasn't really been that great, really. Unfortunately, Sega has been having quite a few misses with the series, but I mean, the movies have been doing well. And it's nice to see a game kind of come back to its roots. Shadow, on the other hand, awesome campaign. Really fun. It's got different powers and things like that. I mean, you're not rocking a pistol like the old school game that was on the GameCube, but it's freaking fun. And it's done really, really well. So if you ask me, $30, $40, I think I got it on sale, and it constantly does go on sale. I think it's definitely worth buying if you've got kind of like a portable device. I also think like a PlayStation Portal, maybe even a Steam Deck, runs amazing on those. No brainer, really. Great game. For my number 9, I'm sorry guys, it's another remake, but Silent Hill 2, the remake, amazing. Great time. Probably one of my favorite horror games that's ever come out. You've got a really fun atmospheric type of like horror game here that's filled with jump scares. I mean, bullets are scarce, healing is scarce. And I mean, just the story itself and the twist that you're getting on just a kind of simple quest, right? I mean, you're this guy, James, who's looking for his wife who's dead, but then left him a letter to come find him in Silent Hill again. I mean, it's awesome, guys. There's really, really deep things that kind of happen by the end of the game. And I mean, at the end of the day, I never actually played Silent Hill 2, and I can see how this one is regarded as one of the best horror games out. Just it's the atmosphere itself, guys, the music, the way everything just like works in this game. I mean, you are fully absorbed, fully engaged, and you honestly have a blast from beginning to end. The puzzle system is real old school. I mean, you're finding different items and putting them together and solving these puzzles to get through levels. Really old school, but it's just done so well. And I mean, it's not just like a straight action game, despite, picking up a shotgun later on and finding more bullets. At the end of the day, it feels like every bullet matters. This isn't like a Resident Evil 4 style action horror game, and it's a blast. It really is. If you haven't played Silent Hill 2, I highly recommend you go out and try this one. I think this one also goes on sale, but it's a no-brainer, guys, for 2024. It was something I was looking forward to, and I think it's a really, really well done remake. So my number 8 is a little weird, and I'm just going to go out and say, guys, I cannot do a top 10 without throwing down Palworld into this mix. This game took the world by storm, sold an insane amount of copies, and basically took over my life, taking me from someone that doesn't really like these survival type of crafting games to just someone that's obsessed with it. It was kind of like my introduction. I played a little bit of Valheim. I couldn't get into it, but this game, maybe the unique art style, maybe I'm just a sucker for freaking Pokemon, man. I don't know what it is about this game, but it is straight fun from beginning all the way to the end. You've got an open world. It's freaking weird with the guns, but I mean, just capturing these pals and then being able to kind of just like stop having to click trees and farm things and having these guys work for you was a game changer for me. I had so much fun. I had fun picking out, my team, leveling these guys up, teaching them moves, and just going out into the world. I think, honestly, set aside whatever plagiarism and shit that's going on. at the end of the day, stuff like this kind of gives the Pokemon company something to worry about. And I think more competition is always a good thing because honestly, guys, as a Pokemon fan, it's getting old, man. It really is. And, you know, we need something new, just like kind of like Pokemon Arceus. That was, in my opinion, a really good game. Palworld hasn't really gone through a lot since then. I think the developers just couldn't keep up. But at the end of the day, a game doesn't need to last forever for it to do amazing. And I thought it was great. I think it made a ton of money. And I swear, if you haven't played it, go out and buy it. You'll like it. I think it's still on Game Pass too if you want to try it out. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth your time. And it's a blast. It really is. I don't even think it's that expensive of a game either. And speaking of games that don't last forever, for number 7, I'm going to have to go with Helldivers 2. Yes, it's been through a lot. Yes, there's been some controversy. Yes, they fucked over quite a bit of the world with the whole PSN restriction thing. But at the end of the day, guys, this also took the world by storm. It was just an amazing game, a lot of fun, especially for the money that you're spending here. I mean, going through dropping stratagems on these different aliens and bug things and just liberating these planets. I mean, it's fun, guys. It really was just like something really unique. Dropping in with randoms was great. Dropping in with friends was also fun too. At the end of the day, your biggest enemy was really just the people on your team dropping freaking airstrikes on you. But that doesn't take away from the time that you have playing this game. The customization options are there. On top of that, you've got different weapons, different metas that you could unlock. It's fun. I think it was really well done. I think the worst thing about the game, besides all their controversy, was just not being able to keep up. But at the end of the day, they did drop a new faction right now. I haven't been able to personally try it out. Been obsessed with Marvel, by the way. Whole different side game that I'll bring up later. But yeah, guys, I mean, if you haven't played Helldivers 2 in 2024, I don't know what rock you live underneath, but at the end, you have to. You seriously have to. It's one of those must-play games. Still alive right now. There's more in the game as well. I mean, definitely worth the money. Even those battle passes, I mean, I bought a few of them. I played it. Did it get repetitive? Honestly, yes, it does get repetitive. But again, not every game needs to last forever for it to just like be fun and be great. I'm from a generation where we played and beat a game and that was it. You're done. On to the next. And I don't know, with the Fortnite brain everyone has, everyone expects games to last 4 or 5 years. But if I can get a good solid month or two out of a game for $60, that's real good value for me. Number 6 is where my list is starting to get a little hard, but I can't do a top 10 without talking about Space Marine 2. Space Marine 2 had an amazing campaign, just exhilarating action, old Xbox 360 style gameplay. I mean, hack and slash, getting a hammer even, the chainsaw. The executions were freaking amazing. Just the amount of blood that's just splattering everywhere on your Space Marine. I mean, this is just simple, old school action against just insane, insurmountable odds of enemies. I mean, the screen gets freaking full. It's World War Z on steroids, and you are these badass Space Marines with just huge weapons that's just killing everything that you can. Once you're done with the campaign, you've got kind of like the special ops thing that you can go into with some friends. You can unlock different things as well for your Space Marine in different classes. That gave it a little more longevity. And then you can also jump into multiplayer, which I did for a little bit. Wasn't something, you know, too fun for me, at least. I mean, it was all right. It wasn't anything to write home about. But yeah, the campaign and just post-campaign missions, amazing time, had a blast. I think the game was just done so well. I can't wait for the third one or whatever updates that they've got cooking. But at the end of the day, guys, I highly recommend this one. Not a game that's going to, you know, take you too long to beat. I think the main story is like 17 or 18 hours. But you can at least get like 30 plus just playing, you know, those missions at the end, especially if you want to grind your guy to get different like armor and things like that, or level up your weapons. So definitely a game I think is amazing. I thought I had a great time with it in 2024 and I highly recommend it. Number 5 is going to be my most controversial because I'm not going to put DLC like Elden Ring's Shadow of the Erdtree on here because you have to buy Elden Ring in order to play this game. So it's kind of like minimum $100 to experience it. And I know you have to spend thousands of dollars to technically play Destiny 2, but hear me out. Destiny 2 is a free-to-play game, one. And on top of that, the Final Shape, in my opinion, is the best expansion that they've probably ever dropped. I think as a Destiny 2 fan, what we got out of Final Shape is insane. I mean, the expansion on top of everything tied up so many loose ends. It felt like an Avengers moment for Destiny 2. Someone who has been there for about 10 years, I can't do a top 10 and not talk about just the amazing time that I had playing this one, playing it with friends, grinding it by myself. It was epic. It was well done. The music was well done. The cutscenes were amazing. Just the mission design was great. Even that final boss battle at the end that you get was just insane. And then on top of that, the secret boss battle that you did with all these other people to just end the story. Just an amazing way to just end a series. I wish they just ended it. I hate to say this, but I mean, after everything that's happened with Bungie, with the CEO and all his cars and just the layoffs, it feels like they're kind of gearing towards Destiny 3 or maybe just moving on to something else. I haven't been able to jump back in. I haven't really had the time to, but I haven't seen anything that sparked my interest. But yeah, I mean, for the $30 or $40 that I spent on this expansion, guys, if you haven't played any of the Destiny 2 expansions, that is the best one, hands down. I know it's going to be hard to understand things. You can watch things online, or you can wait for one of those free weekends. Like I said, the game is free. You could play the DLC on those free weekends and then lead up to this one. I think it's a great time. You can get easily just hundreds of hours out of this game. Hear me out. I know people hate this game, but there's a lot of depth here for you. There's a lot of fun to be had. And someone who's been like on and off of Destiny 2, that is the highest point that we've ever had as a franchise. And I can't do a top 10 without talking about it, at least. So I'm really hoping that at least the Destiny 3 comes out and we can kind of just like put this one aside. Especially because that, honestly, guys, it was a really good expansion to just end things on. It really was. And for my number 4 pick, guys, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom took a Zelda series and made a huge twist on it. I'm a huge Zelda fan, by the way, and no matter what, I mean, these games hold a near and dear place in my heart. I've played them all. Honestly, when I was watching kind of the Nintendo Direct, I wasn't really feeling it. I thought this would be another like Four Swords gimmicky type of thing. But no, this is a full-on Zelda game. You've got an open world that's really reminiscent to those 2D Zelda games like A Link to the Past. You've got secrets to discover. Pieces of Heart are back. Old school dungeons are back. The main twist here is that you're playing as Zelda and she's basically a necromancer. I mean, you're copying furniture and you're using all of the different items to kind of just like solve puzzles here, which is actually really great, especially because some of those are kind of key in the different dungeons. Kind of like how Ocarina of Time and the old Zeldas were, where, I mean, you'd get the hook shot. And that was a key to solve almost all the puzzles within like the water temple, for example. But I thought it was done just so well. I think the music's great, of course, in every Zelda game. I think the story was a real fun twist on things, having to save Link instead. Guys, it's Zelda. You're jumping into it. And at the end of the day, the only big twist here is going to be the action. You are summoning enemies instead, necromancer style, and having them fight for you. Kind of makes it a little repetitive. I mean, some of the puzzles might be just a little too easy, but you do have that freedom to just figure these out on your own using boxes or beds or whatever you need to get through. But at the end of the day, I had an amazing time with it. I think it's well worth it. It's one of my favorite Nintendo games, I think 2024. I didn't get to play really like Mario Brotherhood or anything like that. So definitely a game I recommend, and looking forward to even just more Zelda titles, man. They're always a good time. I always have fun with Zelda games. I know I said there was a lot of remakes on this list, but the final one for me is going to be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is a sequel to Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is a remake of the OG Final Fantasy VII, which was just one game that they decided to make into 3 games. I didn't really get to play Final Fantasy VII when I was a kid. It was something I've always wanted to try out. Never got the chance to. Played the remake, had an amazing time. I love what they've done with the series right now. I love the graphics, the art style, the open world. On top of that, the card game that they threw into this one. Everything about this game for me, besides a little bit of filler that's in there with the ship and other areas that you're in, like the beach and stuff, was just the only negatives I could find in this game. But 70, 80 hours in, I mean, I loved it. I had an amazing time. I did most of the side missions as much as I could in the open world. And, you know, taking the combat and just tweaking it from being turn-based to kind of like this action Kingdom Hearts style with a little bit of like slowing things down and being able to do the turn-based things. It's such a great idea. I love it so much. The Final Fantasy game that came out kind of before that one got a little repetitive to me with the action, kind of just like walking into an area, fighting, next area, fighting. No, the way this one's done, guys, it's amazing. I think if you haven't played this series, you should definitely play Final Fantasy VII Remake and work your way to Rebirth. Rebirth takes Remake and just like takes it to the next level. I'm excited for that third one to close things out. It's getting a little confusing. That was the only other thing I will say is that these games are pretty complex. And just warning, they're known for long ass cutscenes, so be prepared for that. But, you know, if you're into RPG style games, I mean, this one's freaking fun. It really is. Definitely worth being on this list. It's probably one of the best games in 2024, at least for me personally. So my number 2, guys, was a game that I thought was going to be amazing, and it was amazing. I mean, it knocked it out of the park. It was my favorite game in 2024 up until a different game came out, but I had a insane time with this. So I'm a huge Souls fan, and I was looking forward to Wukong ever since I found out that this would kind of be like a Souls-like. But man, this is a boss gauntlet. That's the best thing I could say about this game. Best description. It might not be for everyone because of the difficulty, but I don't think it's as difficult as something as like Elden Ring. Definitely worth playing. I mean, the story is actually really cool. It's kind of like based on the whole real Wukong story. It's got like some twists to it that you kind of see coming by the end. I think the presentation is amazing, the open world, the graphics, and the combat. I mean, at the end of the day, the way the combat's done is so freaking fun, guys. The way you're able to level up Sun Wukong and just like gain these new abilities. You get Naruto clones. You're able to like change up the way you fight and being able to use like the stick to maybe even climb up or drop it down on people's heads. It's fun, guys. It's a blast. It's addicting as hell. I mean, I came back home every day from work ringing this one up. I was stuck on that freaking tiger boss for so long. And then when I finally kicked his ass, I mean, the dopamine rush that you get from beating these bosses, it's amazing. I mean, there's nothing like it. And I mean, that's what makes these Souls-likes just so much fun. It's just like you play this game and it's so challenging. It requires you to just like memorize kind of what the bosses do and die over and over again and learn and just figure out patterns and figure out how to beat them. It really just like activates your brain, and it's a true test of skill. It's awesome. I highly recommend people to actually go out and play Wukong. I think it was an amazing game. And at the end of the day, it is a little bit hard. I hate it. I hate that, you know, you can't tweak the difficulty for some people. But trust me, guys, that is the beauty of it. Just try it. Seriously, get in there, die a few times. It's okay. It really is okay if you die a few times. You will figure it out. And once you beat these bosses and you just move on, you get better, you get stronger. And I mean, there's just so much like side things to do as well within those worlds. It's great. I can't wait till they do something else. I mean, I think this is one of the first games that this company's ever come out with. And I mean, they knocked it out of the park. I mean, the worst thing I can say here was those invisible walls in that world. Here's hoping we get a full open world that's not as confusing and maybe like a map. But yeah, that's the only negatives I've got with this game. Other than that, amazing time. And it was going to be my game of the year. I promise it really was. But for my first and best game, sadly, the Game Awards beat me to it, but I was rooting for this one after I played it. Astro Bot, guys, is an insane achievement for gaming. It's just, there's nothing like it. This is up there, I would say, with Super Mario Galaxy as one of the best platformers ever. The way the DualSense works with Astro Bot, it's just mind-blowing. It's so simple, but it's not, you know, anything. I just wish people used it the way these developers did. At the end of the day, I mean, you are getting the little clinking, the little sand rustling, the little vibrations that you're getting, being able to get these power-ups within the levels, the level design, the graphics, just how smooth the game is with no glitches, no bugs. The boss battles are just so unique. The music is freaking memorable. I mean, this is not just like a love letter to every Sony type of game with all the little bots, but I mean, this is a love letter to gaming, guys. I mean, you've got Ape Escape missions, Horizon missions, God of War. It's insane what they were able to do with this one for only like 14 or 15 hours or so. And on top of that, you've got these secret levels that are freaking hard and frustrating as hell, but it's just like addicting. And it just felt like everywhere I went, I just had to do everything. I had to find every bot. I didn't care. I wanted to find every secret. And from beginning to end, that's really what I think separates this one from everything else, is that you have nothing but pure joy playing this game. And that's literally from the moment you start the game all the way to the end. This is just OG video game roots, back to just like that feeling of just like happiness as you're playing, where you're sucked into this world, you forget about everything else, and you are just having fun, man. You are not upset. You're not annoyed. None of the systems really get in your way and piss you off. It's great. It's so much fun. It's just really hard to explain. I know it sounds crazy having Astro Bot as number one. I saw the reaction to everyone at the Game Awards thinking Wukong deserved it. Amazing game. I love Wukong so much. But seriously, guys, the worst thing about Astro Bot is that you need a PlayStation to play it. If you're ever just able to, I think everyone should try this one out. It's just so unique. And again, it's up there. It really is up there with Super Mario Galaxy as one of my favorite platformers just ever made. I'd go so far as to say, you know, if you have a PlayStation 5, Spider-Man 2, God of War Ragnarok, Last of Us series, Astro Bot. It has made it. It's up there. It's one of those must plays. It's something that you have to play. I mean, I don't care if you beat it in a week or two. The experience from beginning to end, nothing like it. Seriously, nothing like it. And anyone else that's played it and enjoys it, you guys could definitely vouch for this. So yeah, guys, that is my top 10 of 2024. I did say there were a lot of other good games here, so here are some bonuses. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree, insane time. Almost felt like a sequel. Would have made it there, but I mean, it's DLC, so it's really hard for me to kind of count it. You know, just set aside the Destiny stuff. That game is free. That's going to be my caveat. That game is freaking free. Another one's going to be Hades 2. The full release didn't come out. I think this is like a $15 or $20 game. Definitely worth playing. Loved that one. I had so much fun with it. V Rising actually went into full access. I had a great time with that one as well. I wasn't able to get this one on my top 10. But that's another one I think people should definitely go out and try out. I'm still playing Metaphor. I know people love it. I'm still just real early into it, and I just couldn't really put it up there yet. I think if you like Persona style games, this one kind of feels really close to it. I've played Persona 5 and it just feels almost like a reskinned version. I'm not fully sold on it yet, guys. I'm really not. But I mean, I don't hate my time, but I'm also not as hooked yet. I think I'm just still too early, but I did want to shout that one out. And I also want to shout out Stalker 2. The only thing I had issues with here was performance on PC. But I mean, if you've got this one on console, if you're able to just stream it through Xbox Game Cloud, definitely a lot of fun. I had a great time. I was really just like hardcore Fallout is the best way I could describe it. And then the crazy one that I heard about during the Game Awards and had to download was Balatro, card game, roguelike. It's hard to explain, yeah, but it's fun. It's really fun. You're just like, you know, playing poker against bosses and figuring out how to beat them and just exceeding a number and getting crazy multipliers, opening boosters, leveling up your deck and just adding different cards. It sounds crazy. It's like a $10 game. I don't think you'll regret it at all. I had to shout that one out because it's freaking addicting and you will lose hours to this game. Trust me, this is like the new Stardew for me, and it's just taking over slowly with all my free time. But yeah, I mean, those are all the games that I've at least, you know, had an amazing time with in 2024. From my top 10 being, you know, my 10th all the way to my first game of the year. I know I missed a lot, guys. I didn't get to play certain games. So definitely drop a comment. Let me know if there's anything I missed that I should be, you know, adding to my backlog and playing here during some downtime. And let me know how you feel about where the games are ranked. I know Astro Bot being number 1 might ruffle some feathers. I know Destiny being in there is kind of just like weird, man, but I can't. I spent so much time in that game. I had to. I really did. It's fun. It's so much fun. One of the highs of 2024 for me, and it had to be there. But yeah, guys, drop a comment and let me know. I will have some more videos out for you. I do want to put out kind of the worst games for you guys to avoid, what I had a bad time with. And then on top of that, I've got some different content coming out. January is a little slow for game releases, so Marvel Rivals Season 1 is out. I highly recommend that game as well. It came out in December and it's done nothing but break records. It is old school Overwatch all over again, but it's done well. Really player friendly, which is surprising due to being a NetEase Chinese company. But yeah, guys, highly recommend that. I'm obsessed with it, and I'll be dropping probably some more content on it because I am just like, it's taking over my life. Again, let me know how you feel in the comments. And if you're new here, if you like this sort of content, drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks.